So I'm going to kick us off here with Gemini Gems. Gemini Gems have been around for a little bit, but they've been really only available if you had the level of Google with the Gemini add-on, and you were paying for that to be able to get to do some of the features like creating gems. But recently, Google has adjusted some of the tools that they make available under different plans. And currently, if you are a Google Education Plus subscriber, or your school is, you have the power to create gems. So, what is a gem, first off? So, a gem is like your own personal chatbot that you can use to give tasks to that you want done, right? And when I am talking with teachers, especially, about why they might want to start using AI tools in the first place, one of the things that always comes up is that it needs to be a time saving mechanism that teachers can use, right? And so think about it. If you could create your own chatbot that does a specific thing for you, that whenever you need that task done, you open that chatbot and you start telling it what to do, it's going to help save you some time in that regard. So I think it's really neat. Plus, it allows you to be creative with some of the things that you want to do. So, I should mention this here too, because these are kind of in within Google is kind of viewed to be personal. They're not necessarily really shareable to other people very well. I can say, well, yeah, I'm sharing this idea of this chatbot that I created, and you can go make a copy of it on your own. But I can't just necessarily maybe take this and then hand it off to students and say, ready, set, go. But there's still a lot of different administrative tasks and things that you do as a teacher that you might want some help with, right? And so I'm going to give you one example of those here. So right now, I just went to the Gemini homepage, right? And I'm just right here. And if I look over at the different panel, the different items in the panel on the left, you can see your recent interactions. But then you get to this part down here where it says gems, and you can see some of the ones that I've worked on already, and some of the other ones that Google has added to it as well, like a chess champ. And there's some other ones there if you're interested in exploring. But I'm going to click on where it says Gem Manager and open up this tool here that's part of Gemini. And you can see here again are some of the ones that Google has created already. That if you need help brainstorming, just open the brainstormer tool that's already there. I've played around with a couple of them, making an historical adventure guide. If you go way back to season one, you can see me creating this one using ChatGPT. I tried to recreate it here and it works pretty well. But like I said, it's not very shareable to use directly with students. So I'm going to make a new one here because I have this idea of something that I know when I was in the classroom, adding comments to report cards was, always something I dreaded doing at the end of every grading period. And so I want to make a new gem here that is going to help me take comments that I want to make about a particular student, but turn them into a glow and grow kind of format here so that I'm not just giving necessarily all the first things that pop into my head about a particular student, especially if they happen to be negative. But it's also going to share out to parents ways that they can still try to improve. So let's just call this glow and grow report card comments. Now, just so that you don't have to watch me type everything here, I've gone through and I've created a prompt that I'm going to use to help me set up this chatbot. So copying that from a different screen that you're not seeing, and I'm placing it here in the instructions. Now, if you look at this, yeah, I didn't come up with all of this myself, right? This actually is something that I had Gemini help me write, and then I am stealing the instructions that it gave me. So this makes a pretty good prompt, right? And so that is what is in there. If you wanted to see some of it, I'm telling it you're a helpful assistant designed to generate and report card comments for fourth grade students. Again, this is all editable, so you can change it to fit your needs. In a glow and grow format, I'm going to give you an example of a document that has the format, what I want it to look like, which I'll show you here in a moment. But then, it goes through and gives some of the instructions in the format that I want it to take. So I'm going to leave that in the instructions section. Then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to add to the knowledge base. So this is going to be kind of the data set that it's going to refer to when it generates its response in the format that you want. So I'm going to add a file here. So to this knowledge base here, I'm going to attach a file that I've already made. It has basically some samples of what I want these report card comments to look like. And I'll show that to you here kind of quickly so you have an idea of what that is. So one of the things here that I added to this particular document here is notice that it just has a student's first name and a last initial. I'm not giving away any data sensitive information into Gemini, so I should be pretty well covered there. I gave them 15 different examples of what that could look like. So then I'm going to take that in my knowledge base and add that here, and I'm going to click Save. I could preview it here if I wanted to, but I'm just going to assume that it's going to work because, I'm doing a live demonstration. Why would things not just work the way that you want them to? Okay, great. So here is my personal chatbot to help create glow and grow report card comments. I could type in the comments that I have, or I could hit this record button and use the microphone to enter in some ideas for comments that I have. So I have David B., who's a fourth grader in my class. And let me be honest, this last week, David was a bit annoying. He spent a lot of time disrupting and distracting other students, trying to get them off task. Basically, it looked like he was trying to get the attention of his fellow students. However, I do have to say this too. David did have a really great week in math. He got all of his assignments done with a perfect score on the quiz that we took on Friday. So I guess it's not all bad about David. So let's stop the microphone there. And we're going to turn this into a glow and grow report card comment by hitting this submit button and see what it comes up with. It says, okay, based on the glow and grow format from the provided document and your observations about David B., here are 2 report card comments that I could add. One's a glow. He demonstrated excellent mastery of math concepts this week, earning a perfect score on the quiz, but yet gives him an area in which he can grow, that he's been disruptive, but it puts a positive spin on it. He just needs to refocus his energy to try to avoid distracting his fellow classmates. Notice it took some of my very negative things and turned them into something that's much more constructive. So again, this would be a quick little tool that I could go through, and I could even give those verbal comments to about different students, and it would turn it into something I think I could really use when adding those comments to my report cards. So yeah, that is just one example of a way that I think that you could really use GEMS as an opportunity to remember, help save yourself time.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I think that the setup is not challenging at all. So, if this is something that educators want to do, you could easily start a new gem and, basically give it the instructions of what you want it to do and start it. So the entry point for that is very low, I think.
Right. I think exactly. And you also have the ability to tweak the instructions, right? If you're not getting what you want this first couple of times doing it, come back and rework that, or ask Gemini to give you some feedback on your prompt and why isn't it doing what you want. And it will help you create, I think, those more clear instructions. And I also really like the knowledge base part of it too, is just really simple to add things into as well. And makes it an effective tool that I think teachers will save a lot of time with.